Okay, how do I begin? I have been for the last month and almost 2 months, part of November and pretty much of December, I spent in Arizona with a friend named Gerald, and together he and I took pictures of the orbs, only we discovered ways of getting the pictures to be so much more than just a round orb. Because it turns out that the orbs that I've been showing on this channel of mine, they do so much more than just be round. And this is one you're looking at here. I like to call this one the light book. And you will see how this light can look like an orb and then turn into all kinds of other shapes. You'll see the orb shape is not its only shape, not by far. And I will tell you this also. Oh, excuse me. My friend douses, and we decided to ask what we were looking at. And it turns out that what we're looking at is Orgone. And something to know about Orgone is that it is the opposite kind of energy from ectoplasm. Now, ectoplasm is something mediums, I don't know if nowadays they do it, but there's a lot of pictures of ectoplasm and mediums, and it oozes out of their nose, their mouth, their eyes, all kinds of orifices of their body. This stuff comes out, and it's pretty gross looking. And sometimes it has faces, and sometimes it takes the shape of an apparition of a person that once lived. And it's kind of scary stuff. And what we found out by dowsing was that ectoplasm is a destructive energy. But Orgone, its opposite, is a constructive energy. Also, in these pictures that you will be seeing, I'm going to start showing them here in a minute, there are little creatures that live within this light. And when we doused for what they were, it was that we found out they were Tachyon. And they look like little creatures to us, but they are an intelligence. In fact, all light is conscious. And these pictures are spectacular, is all I can say. Personally, I think that we're looking at something quantum physicists have been looking for quite a long while. And I think it's dark energy. Because these little things I'll be showing you are right there in the room with you. Their light reveals them. They can be outdoors, they can be in your room, they're everywhere. There's nowhere where they're not. So it fills space. Now, I'm just going to browse through, and you'll see its actions, and the colors, oh, they are magnificent. I took pictures with my camera, and I zoomed in close inside of orbs. Like, look at this one. Now, I'm going to take this and go up even closer, and you see it's filled with little tiny circles. Some of them, like this one right here, there's 2 of them together making a little vesica Pisces in the middle. And it's all just so very strange. Now, no matter what this is, it's something. That's what my mind just keeps saying. Well, it's something. I might be wrong about saying it's Orgone, or that it's Tachyon, or that it's dark matter. But this is visual evidence that light has structure, and it doesn't hold its form very long. It's constantly changing, and the orbs lend their light to other orbs around them, and some of them are very stringy, giving rise to me thinking that maybe the string theory is a very good theory, that what we see is composed of little strings, and they happen to be strings of light. Now, I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. I might not show them all in this setting because we took over 1,000 pictures, and it was amazing. Look at that one, looks like an egg full of strings. It's really strange looking. And the colors, oh, they would just blow you away. I'm just going to be quiet now and let you look at some of them. This is a little, I call it a creature, but because it darts in and out of things. A lot of things dart in and out of this. And this light looks like a fan sometimes, exactly like a fan. And throughout it all there are the little tiny circles. Oops. You will see some amazing pictures. And your guess may be every bit as good as mine, because maybe you have a communication where you can ask, what is this that I'm showing you? Because it is fascinating. I know it's something, and I feel really privileged that I have found a way of showing it. Uh-oh, that was a movie. I thought I removed all them. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. Isn't that one strange looking? Move this over a bit. When I'm using my camera to view these before I click to take the picture, I feel like I'm looking into another world. And now this is outdoors up in the mountains there in Arizona, and the sun shoots out all this purple and all these orbs that are five-sided, which may be because the aperture of my camera is five-sided probably. But I don't know that that's the reason for sure. But see, when you take pictures of the sun, all kinds of things emerge. Okay. This is really close in on one of them. I'm going to go through them rather quick, because you can stop this anywhere. Now, all these lines are kind of morphing inside of this. When I first saw this one, it was all straight lines across it, but then nothing stays still in these orbs. It's very amazing. And see this one here? These lines here burst. It just burst open into a lot of smaller clusters of color. And that was these straight lines. That's what I mean when I say it morphs all the time. And it can morph back into a pattern just as quickly as it morphs out of a pattern. And so many of the colors are in this. Now look at that one. That's really weird. Sometimes they're a bit grainy because my camera was in a part of the room where it was darker. All I do to these when I get them on the computer, all I do to make them show up better is darken and lighten them. I don't add any color. But when I take some of the light away, some of the darker colors show up. That's beautiful. And look at this one. Isn't this one amazing? I'll go in on that one a little bit, let you see what it looks like close up. Like a fan. And this one, I like this one because it has an orb right in the middle like a big old sun or something, and all these like rays of light. That's just what it reminds me of. That's not what it is, of course. I really don't know what I'm showing you here. Your guess will be as good as mine. Maybe better. I don't like to throw absolutes out there about what I'm talking about, because how can anyone be absolutely sure what they're looking at? All I know is that it's very, very strange and wonderful. camera slightly. That one almost looks like a face because of these two little circles here. There's circles all through these, some of them small and some of them large. And black spots in them as well. It's like an entirely different landscape. And while I'm showing these, while I'm clicking from one to the other, I will explain to you that this camera sees things that my eye can't see. And I see it through the camera, and then of course then I can see it after I put it on the screen. But the reverse of that is true. My eyes can see things that the camera won't pick up. And what I can see with my eyes is a broader landscape, and it's more interesting really. And it used to be something I wouldn't even talk about because it was so strange. I thought, well, people just won't believe me. But now that I'm able to take pictures of some of the strangeness of this, I dare to tell people, yes, I can see light in a different way. And I've been doing that for quite a few years. And I think this is something that evolves in us, this ability to see light differently. Or maybe light is different now. Maybe there's cosmic rays out there making light appear different to us. Oh, that's some light coming through a tree. I took that outdoors. And don't be afraid to take pictures of the sun. It's very amazing. There's another one, looks like a bunch of strings. Let me just turn my camera a bit. And these orbs just fold over. They elongate and look like fans. They look like all kinds of things. There's no two pictures I ever have gotten that are alike. Similar, but not alike. It's like looking into another world. I'll go into this one a little bit. You can see depth in these. There's much definition of depth. That one's interesting. Sometimes the colors just want to knock you out. And sometimes when I get a lot of color, if it's real bright, no matter how I darken it, I can't get any definition of it because it was just too much light. And so those I have to let go. Isn't this one interesting here? You can see inside of this, it's kind of like it has a sheath. Uh-oh, I went to the next one without meaning to. And these orbs pass right through one another. And they lend their colors to another orb right beside them. There's no set rule that they follow. I think they're an intelligence that has a mind of their own as to what they will look like or be at any given moment. Or at any given nanosecond. Because as my friend and I looked at these things, as we were taking the pictures, they changed. By the time we clicked our camera, sometimes what we saw changed to something altogether different, just in that length of time of clicking the camera. I tend to want to believe that I'm looking at Orgone. And not much is known about Orgone. It's supposed to be a healing energy. I may be the first person to ever get pictures of this sort of thing. Pardon me that I go real fast because I only have 1,000 pictures or more. I think something like 1,300 pictures altogether. And see, one here is blues and pinks and greens, and this one is yellows and green and a little bit of pink. And then here's one that's just all strung out. And light can turn on a dime. It can turn on do an acute angle. Well, it can do just anything it wants to do. It seems to have no rules. And sometimes, I will, when I get to one I will show you, it looks like light makes a circle and it's like a snake swallowing its tail. Now look at this one kind of unraveling here. See all that? It's like every part of the orb, every little bit of light in any orb is another little entity with its own decision of what it wants to do, either by itself or in cooperation with others like it. Now this is one very interesting one. I'm going to stop longer on some of the more well-defined ones. This one's a good one too. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? I'll go up a little closer on that. Move around. That's an interesting one. There's no controls I could put over this so that you can do a repeatable experiment. You can do it repeatable, but it won't ever look the same way twice, is what I'm thinking. Because what we're dealing with here is not something that we have control over. It has its own mind as to what it wants to appear as. But I do believe that communication is possible with light. Wouldn't that be something if we could understand the language of light? And sometimes it just fans out in the most beautiful way. I'll show you part of this one, where all this pink is. Pink and green, such colors, it's just amazing. I think this one turned out really good. It's just so elaborate. Light is an amazing thing. And see, this one looks like it's developing a little hole in it. And I've got several that look that way. They get a little hole in them. Isn't that one fantastically colored? My friend and I would just squeal with delight when we got real pretty colored ones. Like, oh, you got to see this. We took these pictures over a period of several nights. We would take pictures until we were just so tired we couldn't take any more. And then the next night we would begin again. Because one important thing about taking these pictures is to have the room dark. You don't want too much light coming in the room. But you do have your little LED light that is shining, and this is what brings these things to light, is having a bright LED light on. I'm going to go rather quickly because I'm already at 20 minutes here. Look at that one, isn't that strange? They're kind of fun to look at. I've just been looking at them the last couple of days since I've gotten home and gotten on my own computer where I could take them all off the little cards that I had them on and really look at them good, because I've been looking at them in my viewer on my camera. I didn't want to take them off on my friend's computer because his computer is so full of pictures already. Anyway, it was fun being on vacation, getting away from my usual existence. I was sort of on a media fast because I didn't listen to the news very much. I do wish I could show you what I see with my own naked eyes of the light, because it's such a panorama that is kind of an unbroken one, whereas these are just little bits and pieces of what I see in a bigger, expansive way when I look at light. And I'm just real happy. Oh, look at this one. I want to show you this. See it swirl around like a funnel there? I'll go in on that one a bit. Right here. It's swirling around. I will say this about what I see. Oh, this was, let me tell you this first. There were some mules in a little yard. We stopped by the road and on the roadside, and I took pictures of these mules, and the sun was shining down and orbs just appeared in the sunlight. Strange. Light is up to something. Oh, wait a minute, let me go back on this one. This looks like letters. To me it looks like a TH and there's an N. And I don't know what that is, but that just looks like a message there, letters of some sort. Maybe it's think or thank or something like that, I don't know. But I do expect that this light is intelligent enough to communicate with words if necessary. But first things first, I've been in a head spin all this time. Oh, and this one I took outdoors, and I got these orbs over. It's beautiful, the mountains there in Arizona. We climbed this mountain that this is his truck, his van, and I'm on a mountain top looking down at where we parked. We walked around in the wilderness and went to this one rock he said was an Indian ceremonial place, and it was a healing rock. And I laid against that rock for about 30 minutes. And when I left that rock, I did experience something. I was having trouble climbing uphill because of, you know, the pressure of pulling up on a hill. But after being on that rock, that healing rock, I could just walk uphill like it was as if I were walking on level land. But I was stepping uphill, sometimes pretty steep uphill. But it was like, oh, this is a piece of cake now. I can just walk so easily going up. But it wasn't too easy going down. I was unsteady on my feet going down because some of the rocks give way under you, and you're fearful of falling. Yeah, I thought I took all the movies out, but one pops in every now and then. Oh, this is one. See, the motion of this was that this part right here that I'm pointing to goes into this other part, like a sleeve, like a head going into a tunnel. And this one's very interesting. And orbs would show up in my pictures of just ordinary things, especially outdoors if the sun was shining really bright. Isn't that one unusual? I'm going through rather fast now because I'm at 26 minutes. And I wanted to show you, okay, here's one that's got a little opening, see? Looks like a little door in it. I have several like that. It's really fun taking these pictures, and I intend on taking more. I'm going to have to invest in a device for storing them in other than on my computer. Because I can see that I'm going to get hundreds and maybe thousands of pictures of this light. I'm believing also that it will evolve. I feel like I myself am evolving. Another little door in one of the orbs. You know what I really like about this is, well, you hear a lot of things that people claim this or that incredible thing, almost too hard to believe. Some people's stories I don't believe because they're so incredulous. Although I always admit that, it's possible that they're telling the truth as they saw it, as they understood it. But with this, there's the visual evidence. And that's what makes this so unique. I thought I took all the movies out, but I didn't. Look at this one, isn't that strange? I'll move up in that one a bit. Did you see how it just does? I'm going to show you. Okay, I didn't take all the movies out. I will show you the light back to the library. See, I've got just tons of these pictures, so I'm going to pick out some of the prettiest ones. See? So you don't have to look at each and every one. Let me go back to the library. Because there's some I don't want you to miss. Sometimes they're real pretty pink and blue. I like that one. That's pink and blue. These colors kind of set the mood of how you feel. Here's a really interesting one. Let me go from there. These are reflected in some marbles that I was filming this off of. If you use marbles, you get the round orbs, but we had other means of getting orbs as well. Let me go down here, see what all I might want to show you. When I put an orb around Gerald, I did a lot of him with orbs around him. Here's a good, beautiful, colorful one that was outdoors when I took this one outdoors. Oh, Okay, I gotta end this. I'm at, wait a minute, is that 30? Yes, 30. I might not go past that. So I will end this now.